All right, this is John. Welcome back to The Prepared Mind. I have had it with this Q thing. Once again, I'm going to lay waste to any popular theories or nagging doubts people have about the veracity of the Q movement. The note, and this message is particularly for those who are part of the R Syndicate think tank. The note is bullshit. We're going to talk about need. Let's start with need. Humans have needs. Political agendas have needs. Radical takeover coups have needs. Is there a need to get information to Hillary, to the Bushes, to Pence, to Joe Biden, to the Obamas? Is there a need to get information to them? If there is, what is the best way to do it? To contact them in a number of ways. It can be public. It can be in a meeting. It can be a note handed to them. It can be a card at a funeral. It can be anything. Why does it have to be a card at a funeral? Is there a need for that sort of risk? Because I'm going to talk about how that delivery system happens and how it can be tracked. If you do not want to be caught, if you want to be super top secret, secret agent, secret spy, right, secret squirrel, you don't get caught. Right? You can send an anonymous email. You can have a fucking courier show up at their house. There's no need to do it in church, at a funeral. So let's look at the different levels of reaction that people had. No, before we get there, the delivery means. If people are walking into the funeral and they go through a line where they're handed a pamphlet, a program with the eulogy in it, and you know there's certain characters that you want to hand an envelope to. You have those envelopes prearranged in such a way that you know exactly which one is where, so you can pull it out and hand it to the person you want to as they walk by. It's complicated, but it's not too complicated. If everyone has a personalized message, it's more complicated. If everyone gets the same envelope, it's less complicated. They walk by, you hand it to them, and they don't realize it till they sit down and start going through the paperwork in a moment of boredom and stupidity. Or those papers are sitting in the seats where the people are prearranged to sit. In either case, either by video or by job assignment, people who have access to those are known, they're understood, they can be found out, they can be traced, they can be identified as the deliverer of the note, especially if someone as powerful as Obama or Hillary is there. They'll go find out who the fuck put these out. They'll remember the face of the person handing these out and know that they had to select certain people for those notes. Those persons are now exposed. They're outed. They are now identified and at risk for reprisal for their participation in this. So whoever wanted to deliver, if these are real notes with real messages, they had to have some strange, odd fucking need to do it at the funeral and not by other means which are available to powerful people. Once again, notes delivered to desks, notes delivered to home, using public parcel deliverers, right? And yes, you can get a note past their security and get it right to Hillary. This is a note from this powerful person to this person. Nobody else is allowed to read it. If they want to pass notes, it's easy enough to do. Now, let's move on. We've discovered the two ways that these notes can be delivered. Either sitting on their seat waiting for them or handed to them in particular. We saw a number of different reactions. We never saw the Pences open theirs, to my knowledge. We saw Biden fumbling with his. And it may have been he was looking at the name on the front of the note like it was sent to the Bidens. He was like, hey, this was sent to us direct. Right? But I don't remember seeing him open it up. Hillary looked at hers. Stone cold face. The Bushes looked at theirs and they were shocked. The notes could have had a picture of, let's just say, a Photoshop picture of the Bushes in criminal sexual activities. That would upset the Bushes mightily, especially if it was handed to them at their own father's funeral. Hillary, on the other hand, if it was the Bushes doing something wrong, why would she care? She'd put it, slip it back in the envelope and laugh inside her little evil head. Now, just as easily as Q, some super secret squirrel organization, could have done these fucking envelopes, Hillary could have done it. She has people, she has insiders. She's the deep state. She's a huge deep state operative. You don't think they have the power to put notes out there? You don't think so? Anyone could have done this. All you have to do is have the right job. That is, you're the person handing out eulogies. You're the person putting pamphlets on people's seating assignments. That's the only real trick in this, is getting those people in those particular positions. Otherwise, passing a note with information that is upsetting, damning, a code. If you wanted to pass something that is what? An indictment or a threat. Anybody can do that anytime, anywhere, as long as they have a little bit of power. Again, you can take the note to their office. You can have it sent by private courier. You can have it sent to their house. You can have it put on their car. People can pass notes. It's not that big of a fucking trick. Just because Jeb Bush reacted that way doesn't mean it was a real threat. It could have been a picture of his dad having homosexual behavior with anybody, and it would have been shocking to an emotional big wimp like Jeb Bush. If George W. Bush saw it, he wouldn't give a shit. Right? That guy doesn't have emotions. Right? Not to the extent that I believe we as human beings do. Right? So his reaction would be different. Laura Bush's mouth wouldn't shut. She was so shocked. That fits in with her personality profile. Hillary Clinton, if she got a picture of Bill Clinton having sex with somebody else, a guy, what? That's nothing out of the ordinary. It's completely within her character to have no reaction to information of that sort. So we have to ask the question, we have to go to Occam's razor. What is the most probable, the most likely conclusion we can come to? That a super secret squirrel anti-deep state organization took a chance of outing their operatives by handing specialized envelopes to only particular people, so that all of those people would know from who it came, and that person would then be compromised. Or it's a joker out there, and they're like, holy cow, I got the job of putting envelopes on the seating assignments, and I'm going to put a joke in there. A picture, anything, a meme, something that is quickly and easily understood and can be either upsetting to emotional people or dismissed by cold-hearted knuckleheads. What is more likely? That they were given some sort of sick, twisted little joke? Or it's more likely that Q, an incredibly brilliant organization, had the need to deliver an envelope at precisely the funeral in order to make a big deal out of everything. Because there's no better way or time or place in which to get these people a secret note. Think about it. We're being sucked in. Q is famous for taking activities or actions or things that occur and then assigning credit to themselves for taking these actions and making them into something that they're not. So Jeb got upset. In reality, who gives a fuck? That guy probably gets upset if you sprinkle too much cocaine on his cornflakes. Hillary didn't get upset. No one else seemed to open them. Who cares? It's interesting, but it's probably a joke. It's probably a fucking prank. Because there are far better ways to get the information to these people. And I don't want to hear, well, they had to serve them indictments that way because they wouldn't take indictments any other way. Bullshit. Bullshit. If they've got a real indictment and they need to, what? Serve someone with fucking papers, they can put a badge on a dozen men and walk up and say, we are serving you. You are hereby served. This mamby-pamby, secret squirrel, fruitcake, spy network bullshit has its fucking limits. And we need to stop being children about this and wishing and hoping for Santa Claus mixed with Jesus, mixed with the Easter Bunny who can hide things, is who is going to save us. The only one who does have a chance to save us is the real Jesus. And to my knowledge, he's not here right now. We are left to our own devices, and we're amongst a bunch of evil pricks who have nothing but disdain and hatred for us. And we've got to stop falling for these little childish tricks because we want there to be these arrests. We want to see some action. We want to see justice. We cannot let our desires and our hopes and our wishes interfere with our intellects. The most probable reason those were put in there is they were pranked. It was a sick prank. And Hillary is a sick human being and it wouldn't bother her. And the Bushes, basically Laura and Jeb, are sponges. They are weak and soft. They may be evil and weak and soft, but they're weak and soft, and he would have had an awful, awful response to a sick joke at his father's funeral. It's that simple. It is the most simple explanation. Because to put an operative out there to hand these things out in a particular order at a particular time, or be the one to set them, or to be the one to walk around after all of the eulogy paperwork was set out, to then go to those particular seats and slip an envelope in, that person would be exposed. They would be compromised. And in the world of statecraft, spydom, they would be targeted for it. You cannot risk your operatives that way. And even if it was the busboy, if it was the busboy or the bus girl or the ding dong or an altar boy, what do you think would happen? They would get them. They would be in trouble. They would be grilled and asked and investigated. Right? So we've got to use our intellects on this. What is the most likely explanation? Was there a real need to have that envelope delivered at that particular time? Oh, so we could get them on camera to see their surprise and shock. The only one surprised and shocked was a big pussy. Nobody else cared. They just saw it and blew it off. Do you think Hillary Clinton doesn't get pranks and notes and bullshit and threats all the time? That stone cold ice bitch has had people murdered in the hundreds, allegedly by people who researched the subject. In the hundreds. And that's just the ones we know about. Do you think she doesn't get threats? Do you think she doesn't know how to handle people who fuck with her? The note is bullshit. We need to let it go. Until you see someone doing the orange jumpsuit, disco dance in stainless steel chains, until we see that day, these people are not in trouble. We have them dead to rights, admitting crimes, being what? James Comey, yeah, he admits that he knows Hillary's committed a crime, and she is still not in jail years later. You expect a fucking note to matter now? Now, if they get arrested next week or next month, I'm sure Q's gonna go, oh, the letters were everything. We were there. Q is it. Trust the plan. Where we go one, we go all. Blah, blah, blah. It's bullshit. We've got to let the bullshit go and just look at this like sane, rational human beings. Eventually, hopefully, they get arrested. When they do, it's going to happen. At that point, all we need to do is go, fine, they got arrested. We don't need to ascribe superpowers, James Bond, Man from U.N.C.L.E., Secret Squirrel powers to an organization called Q for this to happen. It should only take a true, proper, lawful, legitimate law enforcement action to arrest these people. The system's in place. It works fine for us, does it not? If I were to rob a bank, if I were to steal a plane full of uranium or gold, they would find me. They would arrest me. They would prosecute me. They would convict me. They would sentence me. They would incarcerate me. It's a very simple process. It's well laid out. It doesn't take the delivery of super secret envelopes. It doesn't take any of this gamesmanship. It is bullshit. It's behind the scenes. You want to know what games go on? Blackmail and extortion. Murder and racketeering. Those are the real games. It doesn't take super secret envelopes. to get these people arrested. It doesn't take super secret envelopes for Hillary to stay out of jail. It takes powerful people who can be blackmailed and extorted. It takes murder, and it takes all of the elements that we're already well familiar with. They're well established. Blackmail and extortion are well established techniques for controlling people. The misuse of power by law enforcement agencies and the judicial branch are well known for their ability to control people and control events and control nations. They don't need envelopes delivered in seemingly auspicious times in order for there to be a changing of the guard or something to happen. If they're going to arrest Hillary, they're going to arrest her. If they're not, handing a note to her isn't going to make a difference. Obviously, by the look on her face, it doesn't make a difference. I did not see George W. Bush and Jeb Bush doing the walk of shame, wearing a bulletproof vest and a helmet over their head, being led to a black car with blacked out windows by men with sardonic smiles on their faces saying, "We finally got these cocksuckers, finally." When I see that, it doesn't mean Q is real. When I see that, it means the justice system is trying to work. It is being applied honestly. Apparently my phone was ringing. That is what it means. We have got to stop acting like children and wishing for Santa Claus to save us. There is a real God, but it is not Q. Anyways, you guys be cool. That's my opinion on this. Goes out to the R Syndicate, and I need to remind everybody else on the planet, right, to grow up and to stop playing secret decoder pin games. This is real life, and when someone needs to be arrested and the justice system is working, it'll happen. It doesn't take envelopes at a funeral. It's not that hard of a thing to do. It is not the military-industrial complex, the Pentagon, and the military that's the only one that has the power to slip envelopes in there. It is not. It doesn't take that kind of power. Right? I can have a official courier service take any of those people a note. Whether or not they open it, Joe Biden didn't open his, Pence didn't open theirs. They don't have to open a note from anybody, much less one delivered at a funeral. It's just a couple of them did, and it was quite interesting to watch. Makes you wonder, but let's be realistic about who, what, where, why, when, and how, and to what end, and key bono, who benefits. The only one that appears to be benefiting from this is Q operatives who want to take credit for this being something that I am certain it is not. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Don't be a fucking sucker. Semper Fi, Merry Christmas, Godspeed to all.